Welcome to Pop Cult, where we talk reality TV, celebrity chaos, and pop culture throwbacks. Welcome back to Pop Cult. We're your hosts. I'm Julia.
And I'm Avery.
And we post 2 episodes every single week. Tuesdays are for our reality digest, where we go over last week's reality chaos. And Thursdays are for the Fame Files, where we go over past pop culture events. And we're back today with another one. You guys seem to love our Bachelor episodes or things revolving around the Bachelor. So now we're doing Bachelor in Paradise.
Hell yeah, we are. We're doing Bachelor in Paradise couples. Where are they now? This is part 1 because there actually are a lot of successful Bachelor in Paradise couples, and I could not fit all of them in this episode.
Can we talk about why that is? Because why do you think that the Bachelor in Paradise couples are more successful than the Bachelor show, the main show?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a couple things. I think one, it's because there's not one person that's the lead. So they kind of get to explore different people, different personalities, people that they would have probably connected with in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also that whenever the producers cast somebody on the show, they ask them for like their top 5 people that they'd like to meet.
Oh, like in the universe of
Yeah,
Bachelor?
like they say, if you were to go to Bachelor in Paradise, who would you like to see on the beach? And 3, I think it's that there's not as much pressure to get engaged. So a lot of the couples will leave dating and then
get engaged later.
Yeah, exactly.
Cute.
So yeah, I think but probably the most likely is that it's just a more casual environment and there's not one specific lead that like everybody feels like they're competing for and that they have pressure on them to have feelings for, you know.
Got it.
You watch Bachelor in Paradise, right?
Yeah, not very many seasons though.
Yeah, I watched the most recent season where they had the golden Bachelor contestants on it.
I didn't watch that.
It was a terrible season, not because of the golden Bachelor
was
contestants, but
like the Hannah and Dylan season.
Okay. I honestly feel like
that was, I think, one of the most successful.
And I think it was like one of the most recent. Like I don't think there was that many seasons after it. Well, I can't remember, to be honest.
Weren't Kaylin and Dean on that one?
I think they were, and we are going to talk about Kaylin and Dean today. We are not going to talk about Hannah and Dylan. We'll do them in part 2. But we are going to talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 couples today.
Cute.
Kind of a lot. For anyone who doesn't know what Bachelor in Paradise is, in my opinion, it is the more successful show of the Bachelor franchise, but it's a spinoff. And it started in 2014. The premise is essentially that former contestants who did not find love on either The Bachelor or Bachelorette would have another chance to find love by going to a beach, like not even a resort, like a beachfront situation, because they're not even in like hotels in Mexico. And there's like a initial cast that goes down, and then throughout the show they add more and more people to try and like throw a wrench in people's relationships. It's
similar to
drama.
Love Island, but there's not like challenges, right?
It kind of is, and there actually was challenges on the most recent season, but you're right. I don't think that was a thing on the old seasons.
Okay.
So we'll live by that, but yeah, so they all kind of date each other. Like people get date cards here and there, and they ask people. But yeah, it's more interesting, I think, than the main shows.
Yeah, I agree, because I just find it more entertaining. I get very bored with the, like, it's this one person all the time talking to all these other people. And I find it a lot more fun to see, like, the mixing and matching.
I totally agree. And it also is fun to see people that you watched on the Bachelor, Bachelorette seasons, and you're like, oh, they actually would make a really good match.
Yeah.
Or like, wow, that would be a disaster type thing. Okay, so I feel like it now, at least the most recent season, I feel like was basically just a breeding ground for like wannabe influencers, but at one point it actually really was a successful show. From what I could find, I think there's around 11 marriages that have come out of it. And most of them are still together. The first engagement ever was actually, I don't know either of their last names, but Marcus and Lacey were their names. We're not going to dive into them because they were never legally married, although they did appear to have a wedding on the next season of Paradise, like after their season. But I don't think that they were ever legally married, and they separated in 2016, which would have been like not even like a year later. So we're just not even going to cover them, but just wanted to mention them up front in case everyone's like, That's not true. Marcus and Lacey were first. Not that anyone's gonna say that, but just in case.
You might get some haters. I don't know.
You never know. However, the first successful couple to come out of the franchise was Jade Roper and Tanner. I think it's Tolbert. It's like Tolbert. It could be Tolbert. I don't know.
I don't know.
I like Tolbert better. Anyway, did you watch their season? Like, do you know who these people are?
No idea.
Okay. So Jade was actually on Chris Soule's season of The Bachelor, and she was definitely, which is the same season that Caitlin Bristow was on. He was a farmer. She was definitely a fan
Dang.
favorite, and no, you should. It was a good season, honestly. A huge part of her storyline was, like, now it's laughable. Back then, I feel like everybody took this so seriously, and it was very dramatic. A huge part of her storyline was when she was at her hometowns episode. She revealed to Chris that she had modeled for Playboy in the past. I think that was at least one of her jobs, is that she was a model.
Oh, did he lose his mind?
He was super freaky and weird about it, and she actually got eliminated that episode.
What?
So,
on the
it was
same
just
like on
weird.
the same date or just like at the end of the episode?
At the end of the episode.
Okay.
It could have
Still
been the
not
same
good.
date. Doubt it, but
that's weird.
isn't
But
that
I guess
so
it wasn't
weird?
that normal. Like,
No,
I
it
don't know.
wasn't. This was probably 2015.
Okay.
Now we wouldn't even bat an eye at that, but he was weird about it. Anyway, Tanner was actually on Caitlin Bristow's season of The Bachelorette, and which is kind of funny because Jade and Caitlin were both on Chris's season, and then Tanner was on Caitlin's season.
Oh, that's kind
So
of funny.
It's funny to think about. He was not super relevant, honestly. He was kind of just like almost a little bit like a narrator, if you know what I mean. Like, you know how they always have that one person that's kind of like narrating things going on, but they're not super relevant unless
Yeah.
it's in their confessionals.
Okay.
Yeah, so they both go on season 2 of Bachelor in Paradise in 2015, and they were a pretty solid couple the whole time, which led them to getting proposed on the show at the end. Like, I don't even really have any drama to spill about.
Cute.
Isn't that cute? And reminder, this is a Where Are They Now episode. So we'll talk about a little bit about their Bachelor, Bachelorette seasons, a little bit about them on Paradise, and then a lot about what they're up to now. In January 2016, they had a televised wedding via ABC and The Bachelor. And around this same time, she moved to Kansas City with him.
Dang.
Shout out Kansas. Julia used to live there, even
Yeah.
though that's not in Kansas. Anyway, I just thought this was a fun fact. Some of the Bachelor alum that were there at their wedding were Ben Higgins, Andy Dorfman, Nick Viall, and Chris Soules.
What, her ex-BF?
Yes.
Damn.
Isn't that funny?
I guess it
I
really
just thought that
never
was so
was that
strange.
serious.
It really never was that serious, and also it just goes to show like how much ABC and The Bachelor produced these weddings.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you know that Jade would not have had his ass there. Anyway, by August 2017, Jade announced that she was pregnant with their first child, a girl. They named her Emerson. And the following year, they moved to California. I'm assuming LA. I feel like all the Bachelor people,
I feel like they're all up in LA.
they all make their way to like LA or San Diego. It's funny. In July of 2019, Jade had their second child, and her birth was actually insane. I remember when this happened, she literally had this baby start to finish in their bedroom closet.
What?
Basically,
Why?
I think what happened is that it just came on super quickly. She was only in labor for about an hour and a half, and I actually think it was a group of firefighters that delivered her baby. Like, they had called for, like 911, and the firefighters got there first.
Dang.
So shout out
Okay.
to the firefighters of America.
Yeah.
Y'all really did that one. She posted a picture about this on Instagram, and Chris Harrison commented, "Now that's the most dramatic delivery ever."
Well, I'm dead.
I thought that was funny. I think she also spoke a bit about having some PTSD after this incident, which is understandable.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever enter my closet again.
No, well, also, like, I can't imagine the damage that would do to your floor.
Yeah.
Not to think about the most arbitrary detail, but I was thinking about that.
I hope she had like, because I feel like I typically have like a couple pieces of clothing items on my closet floor.
Totally.
Hope they
Yeah,
made it
no,
through.
I know. Let us know, Jade. So happy you're okay. In November 2020, she gave birth to their third child. I think all was well with that. And they have had, honestly, they're probably in a good way the most boring couple that we're going to talk about, because they really have had a pretty conventional, squeaky clean life with the exception of a very strange incident in 2020 where so basically it has to do with like some sports betting. Essentially, Jade ended up winning $1 million from a fantasy football game on
Oh,
DraftKings. I
I
know.
didn't even know you could get that much on DraftKings.
Me neither. I hope that that number is accurate. I'm going to do my best to make sense of this, but it's a bit confusing and I don't sports bet, so forgive me if I mess this up. Basically, DraftKings felt that because she and her husband were both participating and that the money, since the money would be going into an account of technically two players, that it was an unfair advantage. So essentially they didn't like the fact that her payment method was shared with another account. I think kind of what was going on here was that they were just doing it for fun. Jade and Tanner were like, they were like, this is a fun little activity that we're going to do as a couple. Like, we'll see who wins. And she just happened to end up winning. And so, because they're married and they probably have joint credit cards and joint accounts, the money that she's winning, he would also be winning. And because he was also participating, they feel like there was some maybe like cheating going on. I don't know.
What? Okay.
Basically, they were saying that she exceeded the entry limits, which is not necessarily a rule break, but just looked down upon. And it obviously makes it more likely that they would win the prize money. But I believe that the controversy was that nearly all of their entries were unique from one another. So it's not like she was just copying his lineups and like his choices, you know? So
So then they're just being gatekeepy.
I know. So it's just giving like you don't want to pay. So now you're trying to find a
So now
loophole.
nobody gets it?
I guess not. And I could be totally making this up out of thin air. I want to say that that can be kind of a common thing with lottery stuff like that. Like they'll try and figure out a loophole to get out of having to pay the winner.
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
sad. That takes the fun out of it.
I know. I could be totally wrong about that. That's just I feel like that's something that I've heard before. But yeah, she noted that like this is just something that they would do for fun. It was essentially she gave the example of like whoever did better that week like doesn't have to cook dinner or something so arbitrary. It's not like they were in it to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like a huge deal, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure it was for DraftKings, but all she really said on it was I just wish if DraftKings had problems with anything, they would have addressed them early on since they knew we were husband and wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Preach.
Period. As of more recently, in 2025, they celebrated 10 years of meeting and they seem like a very happy family, and they also seem to be very close with some other Bachelor alum, notably Ashley Iaconetti and Jared.
Oh, you think they'll make an appearance on Rhode Island?
Probably not because they live in California.
Sad.
Yeah, and I always forget that like it's just kind of funny that Ashley and Jared live in Rhode Island. I don't know. But yeah, they seem to be good. I feel like I would be shocked. You know how like sometimes a bachelor couple will be together for so long and then they'll shock everyone with a divorce?
Yeah.
I don't see that happening for them.
Well, that's good.
And I always remember watching them on Bachelor in Paradise. They seemed like a very compatible couple. We are going to talk about Ashley and Jared, but not quite yet. And we're going to talk about another couple that has less of a happy ending. And I was so sad when it ended, but I am going to talk about it because it was kind of a crazy story. So we're going to talk about Carly Waddell and Evan Bass. I think they were okay. So Carly was also on Crystal's season with Jade. She and Jade are still really good friends. And Evan was on JoJo's season. Did you watch JoJo's season?
Yeah, kind of.
On Chris's season, Carly, I think she was 5th place, so I think she would have gone home right before hometowns, and Evan was sent home pretty early.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, Carly was a cruise ship singer, which is kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah, Slay.
Yeah. And Evan, you're gonna giggle. Evan was/is an erectile dysfunction doctor.
Good.
Anyway, so Carly was actually on season 2 of Bachelor in Paradise with Jade and Tanner. That's the season where they met. And she had like a pretty strong connection the entire time, but then his name was Kirk, and he like blindsided her at the end of the show. Like she fully thought that they were going to get engaged, and at the very end he broke up with her and she was devastated. And I remember there was this scene where she was running across the beach like yelling Jade's name because he had just dumped her, and it was very dramatic.
Yikes.
But nonetheless, she goes back for season 3 of Bachelor in Paradise, which is where she met Evan. She was not into him at all. Like, she felt for what she had was the ick.
Ew.
But we didn't have that term back then. So yeah, that's just funny thinking about it. Like that's definitely what was going on. But she was very vocal about this to other contestants and also in her confessionals. She was actually grossed out by him because they had to do this disgusting kiss challenge. It was like they had to eat a pepper and then they were trying to, you know how The Bachelor makes them do that weird shit? It's so ridiculous. Like
Sure.
they had to eat a pepper and then try and break the world record for longest kiss or something. Like it was just
Ew. Okay.
they knew she didn't like him and they made her do that because of it.
Well, damn.
And that's like, I mean, it was good TV, but you know, sucks for her. So she friend zones him, but then she kind of changed her mind after he had a medical situation happen on the show, and they literally ended up getting engaged at the end of this season.
Damn.
So she goes from being like fully disgusted by him to saying yes when he proposed. And just in case you were wondering what the medical situation was, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure that he just drank too much and got overheated and he was just really dramatic about it, and so she felt bad for him.
Oh no.
He wanted her to go to the hospital with him, but like I'm not kidding you. I think that there's like a 70% chance he could have faked it just to get her to like feel bad for him.
I'm dead.
It's just that would be so Evan. I know that that doesn't make sense because you don't know anything about him, but like he was kind of like that. He was just like a goofy guy. Nonetheless, though, they got married in June of 2017 in Mexico. I think that they might have gotten married on TV also. Jade and Tanner were at the wedding. I'm sure some other Bachelor alum were too. And by August 2017, they announced that she was pregnant with their first child, who was
Cute.
born in January of 2018. So that makes me think that she was pregnant at the wedding, right?
Oopsies. Wait, tell me the dates again. January and they got married in June?
Yeah.
Yeah, she would have to be. Because
Yeah.
June is the 6th month. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny. By May of 2019, they were pregnant with their second child, who was born that
Jeez.
November.
Oh, 2019, 2 years later. I see.
Yes, yep. I know it is all back to back to back. And Evan also had 3 children from a previous
What?
marriage.
How old is
Yeah.
he?
I think he might have been maybe like 6 years older than her or something. So not a huge age gap, but definitely, I mean, 3 kids, like that's a lot. That's a lot of kids, you know, to be a stepmom too, for sure.
Now he's got 5.
Exactly. Unfortunately, in December of 2020, only about a year after their second child was born, they announced that after 3 years of marriage, they had decided to separate. Sad.
Okay.
Yeah. At this point, it's so funny to think about, like, because I feel like with all the other reality shows that are in the stratosphere now, The Bachelor is just one that has so fallen by the wayside. But in 2020, like, they were still pretty relevant in terms of reality TV stars. So they made a whole statement about it, which read, quote, "We have made the difficult decision to separate. We will always cherish our time together and to continue to have the utmost respect for one another as we focus on what's best for the future of our family. We greatly appreciate everyone's love and support and kindly ask that you please respect our family's privacy as we navigate through this."
Okay.
Yeah.
So what
Shortly after-
happened?
Okay, this is the thing. I don't really have specifics, but I'll get into as much of it as I could find. So shortly after they post that statement, she posted a YouTube video and talked about how difficult it's been to not have her kids with her all the time, and even how it was even tougher that this is all happening around Christmas. She even posted a picture on Christmas, and the caption read, "Merry Christmas. Christmas Day isn't what I had expected this year. The 3 of us, the new normal, which feels incredibly abnormal and actually very sad. A lot of you kind people have asked if I'm okay, and I want to say I am, but I'm not. I will be, though."
Okay.
Tough time for something like that to happen, for sure.
Yeah.
She eventually talked about how they had been in therapy for their issues for years, which, like, they've only been together for 3 years, so that's concerning.
So they were like, okay.
Like, I just don't know that they ever really. I think he had a really hard time getting over all of the pretty negative things that she said about him on Bachelor in Paradise when she was fully in her ick phase. Just
Oh,
knowing,
you gotta forgive her for that.
I know, but like I think he struggled because it was like such a short time frame in between when she said all those things and when he proposed. I mean, literally
Okay.
probably a matter of days.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, whatever. But yeah, she basically says, which I thought that this was a bit strange. So, I know this will sound strange reading it out of context, but she had just moved into a new house and she said about it, quote, "I found this house and Evan told me to buy this house, so I did. And then he told me he didn't want to live in it. So here we are. It's a new year. We tried, y'all, for a really long time to make it work."
Jeez. Okay.
Which, what a crazy way to like initiate a divorce.
Yeah.
Wild. She also did say that ending the marriage was ultimately his decision. I think
Okay.
she was like really in it, trying to make it work.
Yeah. And he was like, bye-bye. I don't get that.
I know, me neither. Especially considering that he's been divorced prior. Like, you would think that he would want to do everything that he could to make it work.
Okay. Intriguing.
Yeah. More recently, Carly was actually engaged up until October of 2025 to a man named Todd.
Todd.
But Todd, I mean, who is Todd? I don't have to sweeten my delivery for Todd.
Todd.
She announced via Instagram though that they were no longer together late in 2025, but that she had moved herself and her kids to a new city and that she was very at peace with the decision.
No Todd.
Sans Todd.
Sans Todd.
So I'm sad for her. They had been together since early 2023. I don't really know specific details. Yeah, it's strange. I think she moved to Nashville from what I saw. You know who needs to have her
Okay.
on her podcast is Caitlin Bristow, because Caitlin Bristow lives in Nashville.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to hear from Carly as of recent. Caitlin, have her on.
Yay.
As for Evan, prior to their divorce in 2019, he actually was caught up in some drama regarding his practice. So, like I said, he is an erectile dysfunction doctor, and he had a complaint filed against him for deceptive advertisements, specifically saying that he, quote, sold erectile dysfunction, ejaculation, and other men's sexual function treatments through multiple widely disseminated deceptive marketing campaigns. So basically, these advertisements were saying that his clinic would be able to solve or fix erectile dysfunction even after just one visit, which is, I guess, you're not allowed to make claims like that medically.
Okay.
And I think he had to pay some sort of fine. I don't know. That I just thought that that was like a interesting little tidbit about what he's been up to, but
Yeah.
as of today, I don't really know where they stand. Like I said, I think that she moved her kids to Nashville. He, from what I could find, unless he has a separate account, he hasn't posted on Instagram for years. I think he might live it also in Nashville and I think is maybe in a long-term relationship with somebody. But that's all, take that with a grain of salt because it was hard to find information on him.
Yeah.
She is still very close with Jade and also Ashley. I think the three of them all being on Chris Soul season were they really got to be good friends and still are. I personally would actually love to see Carly as the Bachelorette.
Okay. Have we had a mom as Bachelorette?
Yes, Emily Maynard was a mom.
Okay. Well, then slay.
I
Let's
think that
do
like
it.
we need to pull an Ari. Like that's what they did with Ari. They pulled him from a season way back when. Why
Way
couldn't we
back
do it with
when, yeah, they did do that. And it worked out for him.
It did. I think we need to bring Carly on as Bachelorette. Like that's my because she's part of the franchise. She's clearly a stable human being, and she's not gonna do something that's gonna cause the season to get canceled.
That's
Cough,
really
cough.
fair.
Taylor Frankie Paul.
Really fair.
Yeah, and it would be we would have a mom. Like Taylor was a mom, Carly's a mom, so I feel like
Oh
it would
yeah,
be
duh. Taylor's mom. I was thinking she'd be the first mom Bachelorette, but I am clearly mistaken.
yeah, but like I would love to see somebody who, is actually seemingly ready for marriage and all that comes along with that. So that's my formal petition for Carly Waddell to be Bachelorette.
Petish.
Anyway, going back to Jared and Ashley, we are going to talk about them. Yeah, so they met on season 2 of Bachelor in Paradise, but it took them so long to actually get together and finally date and get married and everything. So that's why I put them after. But they're one of my favorites because their relationship really was a long time coming. Like I said, she was from Chris Soul's season. A lot of really successful Bachelor in Paradise relationships came from his season. That's so funny.
Okay. Cute.
She got sent home on a very dramatic 2-on-1 where she and the other girl were both left in the Badlands after being the center of the drama on his season. I mean, we all know how dramatic a 2-on-1 could get. So
Gosh, a 2-on-1.
the producers do not play with a 2-on-1.
No, I don't. I've never understood a 2-on-1. Like, genuinely, somebody explain that to me.
It's just a way to get the two people that are feuding the most on the season in the same
Yeah,
place.
I guess. I'm just like,
It's
you could have
funny.
avoided it.
It's like just funny that they make the lead decide. I don't really think they do them anymore.
Well, I guess we won't know.
True. Jared was actually on Caitlin Bristow's season where he was in her final 4. So they both go on season 2 of Bachelor in Paradise. She definitely knew who he was before like the show, like before they met in person.
Okay. Got it.
Ashley got a date card. She claims that it was like love at first sight. I even think she said that on the premiere of Real Housewives of Rhode Island,
Okay.
which is funny. So she gets a date card. She takes Jared on a date, and then he then gives her his rose that week. But then he decided that he just wanted to be friends because he allegedly still had feelings for Caitlyn. I don't really believe that. I think he just didn't like Ashley, but nonetheless, she was devastated.
Sad face.
I know, and she was crying a lot on that season. Sad for her. They then became lovers turned friends for a bit because they were always photographed spending time together. And of course there were rumors. But then Bachelor in Paradise season 3 rolls around and Jared is a contestant and Ashley shows up to surprise him. But he had already started something with another contestant who he actually left that season of Bachelor in Paradise with to keep dating, but then they broke up. But he literally told Ashley on that season that the two of them were never going to be together.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Can't we be kind?
Harsh. I'm sure he said it in a kind way. He seems like a nice guy, but like he definitely friend zoned her hard. And Ashley goes on Bachelor Winter Games where she starts pretty seriously dating somebody else. But I guess when that happened, so classic, is when Jared finally realized that he actually did want to be with her romantically.
Oh, it only happens then. When they
Right.
finally have fucking moved on.
Right. The picture that was essentially painted about their relationship was that she was genuinely delusional and thought that he was into her, and whether it was him or production making her look so desperate for him, that definitely was not the case. They made her look like she was this crazy girl who was so into this guy who did not have any interest in her, when in reality, he was like basically stringing her along the whole time. They just never showed that side of it. Their relationship and the coming together of the two of them was actually such a big deal that they posted a 45-minute long YouTube video talking about the progression of their relationship and to all in all reveal that they were a couple. I remember when it dropped, I was like, oh, I am locked in, because I had been rooting for them. And it was surprising because they made it seem like he hated her. They literally made it seem like he could not stand her.
Okay.
He then proposes to her on, I think, season 4 of Paradise.
Do they just keep going back? Like what's
No,
happening?
like they went back as like guests, as like a
Okay.
You know how sometimes they'll bring on the previous couples
Yeah, sure.
who are still together to like
Mhm.
give a word of encouragement. I think it was that kind of vibe.
Okay, they just don't really count, but okay.
No, and you're right. And you're right. Nonetheless, though, they got married in August of 2019 in Rhode Island, which is where Jared is from.
Okay, cool.
Yes, and in 2021, she opened up on social media about their fertility issues. But then just a couple months later, she announced that they were pregnant with their first child, who was born in 2022.
Cute.
So they had their second child in 2024. Both of them they have two boys. I thought that she had that, like, it seems like 2024 was so recently that I was like surprised when I read that. I was like, it seems like she had that baby so long ago, but I guess not. At some point, they moved to Rhode Island permanently, and in 2022, they open up their coffee shop, which is actually Bachelor themed to an extent. I don't know if I don't think they mentioned that on Rhode Island.
How
Yeah.
do you do that?
So it's called Audrey's Coffee House and Lounge, which I think they named it after her mom. And there's basically just like little signs that are Bachelor related, drink names that are references to The Bachelor. And during the seasons, they host Bachelor nights where people come to the coffee shop and watch the episodes.
Okay, cute.
Yeah, I thought that was cute. Like if I lived in Rhode Island, I would go. And I think sometimes other Bachelor people will make appearances at the watch parties, which is kind of fun. It's also apparently a nonprofit, so they at least donate a percentage to charity. I'm not totally sure how it works, but I think that's pretty admirable. And it's kind of enlightening knowing that she literally said on the first episode of Rhode Island that he doesn't need to work there, you know?
Oh, true. It's really just like truly for fun.
Yeah, and to benefit, something at least.
Yeah.
She also co-hosts a podcast called Almost Famous with the former Bachelor Ben Higgins.
Are they like good friends? Like what's that situation?
Yeah, I think they are. I think that their podcast started out as like, you know how there's like Bachelor Happy Hour?
Okay.
Have you ever listened to that podcast?
No.
Basically, there were, for a while when The Bachelor was truly the premier reality television dating show, there were several Bachelor podcasts. And I think that this was one of them, but I want to say they've now separated from the Bachelor franchise
Okay.
of podcasts. But yeah, Bachelor Happy Hour is probably the biggest one, and it was for a while. It was hosted by Becca Kufrin and Rachel Lindsay, and they recently it was, and then it was like, I don't know if you know who this is. We'll do them in our second um Paradise. Where are they now? But Joe and Serena. Do you know who that is?
I do
Grocery
know
Store
them.
Joe.
Mm-hmm.
They used to host it,
They're
and
not
now
together
it's.
anymore though, right?
Are they? No, yes, they are.
I swear I just saw Joe on Alex Cooper's thing.
On
Maybe it
what
wasn't
thing?
him. On her like game show that we were
I
talking about
think she's
earlier.
going to be on the game, but I don't think that's a dating show.
Is it not?
No.
Then what is the point?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like, it's weird. Well, once we get more information, we'll cover it. But yeah, I think that
Okay.
they're still together. But very recently, they just switched it, and now the hosts are Rachel Recchia and Charity.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Cute.
Anyway, they do still do that podcast. I don't really listen to it. I used to when they had on Bachelor people, but I don't really know what they talk about now. But more importantly, in a very exciting development, Ashley was recently announced as being part of the cast of Real Housewives of Rhode Island on Peacock.
Heck yeah, man.
Happy for her. She transcended the networks.
Truly.
Her bio on For Real Housewives of Rhode Island is fresh from finding her Prince Charming on television 5 years ago, which is funny to me. More than that, influencer and former The Bachelor personality Ashley Iconetti quickly learns that life after I Do isn't as blissful as she imagined. Between raising 2 young children, adjusting to life in Rhode Island, and co-owning a struggling cafe with her husband Jared, Ashley's loyalties are tested when Rosie claims she never has her back. I'm very excited to see Ashley on Rhode Island, personally.
I think she's gonna be great.
I think so
Probably be the least
too.
annoying.
She'll probably cry a lot. Okay, so that's Ashley and Jared. Next up, we have Raven and Adam. Do you know these two?
I think so.
I actually forgot about them. This was one of the ones that when I was researching, I was like, oh, I forgot about them, but they are still together. So they met on season 4 of Bachelor in Paradise. She was actually on Nick Vile's season, and
Bleh.
I know. And Adam was actually on Rachel Lindsay's season, which is funny because Rachel was on Nick's season also.
Got it. Crazy. Okay.
Yeah. So Raven and Rachel knew each other because I think Rachel might have been his top 3, and then Raven was actually runner up. So,
Oh.
T.
Okay.
I don't think that Adam made it super far on Rachel's season. When they met on Bachelor in Paradise, he actually didn't propose on the show. They left the show together and continued dating because he felt that they needed more time. I feel like I remember one of their issues on the show. I feel like I remember it seeming like she was a lot more into him than he was to her.
Okay.
And she is from a very, I think, small town in Arkansas, and I think he maybe was more accustomed to living in like a bigger city, and I feel like that was like a point of contention between them. Like he was like, I don't want to, like, I don't know, like she came off as very much like Southern Belle, and he really was not like that at all, and I feel like it was kind of a interesting dynamic between them. I could be misremembering that, but anyway, they did end up getting engaged in 2019 in Dallas. I think that they moved to Dallas once they got off the show and decided that they were going to stay together. They got
Okay.
married in April of 2021, also in Dallas, after having to delay their wedding 3 times because of COVID.
Dang. That's hard.
I know, that really did suck. And even with that, they still only had about 20 people at their wedding.
Okay.
So, not a ton of Bachelor alum at this one. They have 2 children together, one in 2022 and the next in 2023. And Raven is actually besties with another person from the franchise who you might remember from our Colton episode, Tia Booth.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that they grew up together.
Oh wait, that's so funny.
I
Okay.
know. I think that she referred Tia for The Bachelor because Raven was kind of a fan favorite, if I remember correctly.
Got it. Okay.
However, there has been a bit of drama because in 2020, Raven and Adam got into a little bit of a feud with former Bachelorette Rachel Lindsay, who,
Whose season he
reminder,
was on?
he was on her season, they met on Nick's season, and I actually think that they were really good friends on Nick's season.
Okay.
At one point, Raven went on the podcast Roses and Rose, where she was asked if Rachel would be at her wedding, and she responded, it was a lengthy response, but I shortened it just to hit the highlights. She said, quote, "No, because she doesn't like me. I don't want people at my wedding that don't like me. That's all I know. I feel like I've done everything I know how to do, and I'm so confused about it all. I don't think I will ever know why she's upset, and that's fine with me. I've mourned the loss of her friendship. I'm over that now, but I will not argue with her in the media, and I will not talk bad about her."
Okay, random.
Isn't that weird? So, like, reminder, there's some season cross contamination here with, the three of them,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
that is not where the drama comes from. Technically, we still don't know, but a few months earlier, I think what kind of started this feud publicly was that a few months prior to Raven saying this, Rachel was on an episode of Watch What Happens Live where she said that she and Raven were no longer friends. And so I think it was like a fan question. Like Andy was like, so and so from blank city asks, "Why are you and Raven no longer friends?" And Rachel said, quote, "I can't say. I promised I wouldn't say, but it was enough for me to not be friends with her anymore. To
What?
not want to be friends with her anymore."
That's so odd.
I
Oh
know,
my
isn't that
god.
strange?
I just saw like I just looked ahead and it said Colton's getting involved. Are we for real?
Oh my God. Okay, yeah. So after this, for some reason, Colton decided it would be a good idea to open his big fat mouth, and he commented on Instagram. I don't know if it was like a clip of Watch What Happens Live or whatever, but he commented, quote, "Shocker, Rachel mad at another person. Does she like anyone?"
Oh my god. Okay.
Weird.
Where was his relevance?
But like, why is he commenting? He wasn't even on either of their seasons. Anyway, cut to 2023. Rachel's husband, Brian, who she met on The Bachelor, files for divorce. And I have actually learned more about this since, because she was on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast a couple weeks ago and I listened to it. So we'll probably do an episode on this because it seems like their divorce was pretty messy, and I think she's writing a book right now. I know you're so excited to read that.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I've already pre-ordered it as we're
Mhm.
speaking.
Totally. I feel like I remember it though being pretty messy and him asking for spousal support, and I feel like she talked about it a lot and just in the media in general, and the way that she was framing it from her perspective is that like he was the bad guy in the situation. I do think that he was, but of course there's two sides to every story. So only a few weeks after the separation became public, Adam, Raven's husband, commented on an Instagram post about their divorce, quote,
Oh lord.
"Not taking sides here, but wanted to point out some facts on Brian since I knew him from the show. He moved his entire chiro practice across the country, sold his Miami home, left his family and friends to put all he could into a relationship. Rachel has said in multiple interviews that she quit being a lawyer and she started doing entertainment reporting. Brian is a workaholic putting in 12-hour plus days while trying to survive in a high rent post-COVID California business environment. Doing that at 38 or something. Now he's in his mid 40s and is rough."
So Adam is on Brian's side.
Yes, so Adam and Raven have officially taken a side.
Oh, cause yeah, I guess you kind of do have to include Raven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like obviously I think that this all stemmed from whatever this feud is that Raven and Rachel have going on, or like whatever their
Mhm.
beef is. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I
Like,
wish somebody would let us know.
I know, I do too. As of today though, Raven and Adam both just seem to be like family influencers as far as I can tell. But yeah, I don't, like I said, I had completely forgotten about them. And lastly, our last couple that we're going to talk about, I know you know who they are, is Kaylin
Absolutely.
and Dean.
What's crazy is if like Kaylin's life now is so drastically different from when she was first on Colton's season, correct?
Mhm.
Because her and Hannah Brown had such beef because they knew each other prior from competing in USA. What are those called?
Like pageants, yeah.
Pageants. Yes, thank you.
Now you
And what
forgetting
she
the
does,
word pageants.
I did forget the word pageant. And like what she does now, like they essentially live as nomads, correct?
Yes.
And so that's just so drastically different. So it's such a weird thing to see. Love this for her, by the way. Like you do you. So glad you're happy with your life. But like it's just so different from who she used to be, like the first time we saw her. It's so crazy.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I feel like you just portrayed it in the perfect way, and I was trying to figure out a way to portray that when I was writing this. It is so strange how much of an absolute 180 she has
Cause
done.
for me, I've known this woman for so long.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy.
Like I've watched her entire life, pretty much.
Yeah, and it really is crazy because I think at least me, I'll say it. I was a doubter. Like I doubted her. I was like there's no way that she's going to adjust
I
to this.
doubted this relationship for a very long time, like the entire time they were on Bachelor in Paradise, because I did watch this season. in
Mhm.
it because I was just like, no way. Like, his life is so different from hers.
Yeah, and to me, I don't know if you felt this way, but when I watched them on Bachelor in Paradise, I almost felt like he was trying to scare her out of it because he
I
either didn't
agree.
like her or he just didn't think she could do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to watch it again to see if I'm
I
trying to remember
know.
how I like felt at the time.
Yeah, I know. I think she was so into him. I think the reason that they kind of caught a lot of strays was, and like maybe there was some criticism, was because it felt like she was changing her whole life for a man. But that being said, they ended up staying together. But yeah, their story is very interesting. Basically, they were on season 6 of Bachelor in Paradise. So they met in I think 2019. Kaylin actually came from Colton's season, like you mentioned, and she opened up. Had totally forgotten about this. She opened up about being a survivor of sexual assault in college, which that was a detail that I had completely
I
forgotten
don't think I
about.
remember that arc at all.
Yeah, but I feel like she was very well liked on that season. Like she was definitely a fan favorite. And I think if she hadn't have gone on Bachelor in Paradise, she probably would have been the next Bachelor.
Really?
Bachelorette, sorry.
Yeah, Bachelorette.
But it was, and it's funny enough because it was Hannah.
Oh, yeah. LOL.
Yeah, so like you said, one of her storylines was her past being a pageant girl, and she had this tiff with Hannah stemming from their time in pageants together. And I remember it being weird because, like, it was something like they didn't tell Colton that they knew each other or something like that. I
It
don't
was
know.
something weird to the point where I looked up the pageant they competed in together and watched it on fucking YouTube.
You're kidding.
No, I'm
That's
so for
so
real.
funny. That's so funny. Nonetheless, she was sent home during hometowns, and honestly, you dodged a bullet, girlfriend. Thank God.
Yeah, good for you.
Overall, her personality, or her persona, I guess you could say, was very well put together. Maybe a little bit of even like a high strung pageant girly, I would say.
Yeah,
Like
I
she was just
agree.
very prim and proper, which
Mhm.
is just something to keep in mind. Obviously, we know where this is going. But as for Dean, he was on Rachel's season of The Bachelor, Rachel Lindsay, and I remember his family relationships being very tumultuous. Do you remember anything about that?
No.
I think he was sent home during hometowns. I think part of what it was, and I'm pretty sure that this is right, I hope I'm not misspeaking. I think he lost his mom at a pretty young age, and after that became pretty estranged from his dad. I just remember his hometown being very intense, and honestly, the only bachelorette that could have handled something like that was Rachel Lindsay. So I'm happy for him that that's who his lead was because I remember her handling it really well. He was then on season 4 of Bachelor in Paradise, actually, where he was in a love triangle, but he did not end up with either of the women. Um, and he also had a stint on Bachelor Winter Games. Fever dream, honestly. I don't even think
Oh,
I watched it.
okay.
So they meet on season 6, and he actually broke up with her on that season, but then he came back and asked her to leave with him so that they could try dating in the real world. And they went Instagram official in September of 2019 when Kaylin posted a picture of them camping in a van together with the caption, "Lots of ramen, very few showers, and a whole lot of happiness. Sorry we had to leave hashtag Bachelor in Paradise early. The fantasy suite waits for no one."
What a caption.
I know. It's also just like it was so crazy. This is what we've been saying, but it's just so crazy watching Kaylin go from this super prim and polished, put together pageant girl to literally living in a van with this man.
Go off, queen. That's
Like it's
what you
just
want to
so
do.
funny. I know, I'm happy for her. I feel like she needed somebody to break her out of that pageant world.
Yeah.
Like I said, I do feel like she received some criticism for basically completely changing her plan in life for him. I feel like I remember her wanting marriage and kids super quickly. And he also had been really open about being hesitant about marriage in general, which is just so classic because why the frick would you choose to be on this franchise? So bizarre.
Don't know.
In January of 2020, Dean actually got into a really bad ski accident in the Swiss Alps. He dislocated his hip, fractured his femur, and had a 12-week recovery. In February 2020, there were actually some rumors that they had gotten married in private, and then later that year, they got each other commitment rings, which they said symbolized their
What?
domestic partnership without having to get the government involved. I think he has some sort of thing about like the institution of marriage. In January of 2021, they bought a house together in Las Vegas, and In August of 2021, he found himself in a predicament when on his podcast, he called her, quote, the most suffocating woman he'd ever dated.
What? What? After the promise rings?
Right, after the commitment rings? Bro,
Same thing.
what are we doing? He, of course, walked it back, saying that it was actually something that he liked about her, and normally in past relationships, he would have run away from that.
Who has ever used the word suffocating in a good way?
In a good way. I would be so
Who-
mad if my partner
Who
said that
was
about
it?
me.
Oh, this is like, if I'm forgetting his name, but with Bree on Love is Blind, when he goes, she just talks so
Oh.
much.
Oh my
He
god,
never
she
shuts
never
up.
shuts up.
Well,
It is
they're
kind of
also
giving
still
that.
together,
I
allegedly.
know. I know. It's giving yapper girlfriend and silent boyfriend, honestly.
Yeah.
But finally, in October of 2022, they got engaged in Hawaii. And in September of 2023, just about a year later, they got married in Colorado. Their wedding theme like makes me cringe so hard. They themed their wedding Camp Bell.
Ew.
They named it that because I guess like Bell became their, so her last name is Miller Keys, I think, and his last name is
Yes.
Unglert.
What, so they made a new one?
Yeah, they made a new one. It was actually his mother's maiden name, so I actually thought that was kind of sweet that like they did that. Like I think that
cute.
that's
I
yeah.
do like remember liking her wedding dress because they were both wearing the hats, right?
Yes, they had on like those Western hats, not like a cowboy hat, but what do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
call
yeah.
that?
But I don't know. But I do remember liking the dress.
Yeah, I no, and she's beautiful and like honestly, I don't think I follow her on Instagram, but I remember enjoying her content. But yeah, so that was her new last name. Everyone stayed in cabins and they did like camp themed activities. Honestly, my worst nightmare, but I feel like you could be into it.
Me?
Yeah, cuz you remember you used to like hike the Appalachian Trail and everything.
Yeah, I do recall my past life.
You guys, Julia used to say that was her exercise for the year.
And it wasn't
She would go on like
not?
a week-long backpacking trip through the Appalachian Mountains.
And what's wrong with that?
No, there was nothing wrong with it. It was just funny because it was like, other than that, like one thing about Julia, which I'm the same way, we love to take a seat. Like we don't really like to have
I love to be horizontal. It's my like favorite activity.
So it's just like our whole family would be like, oh my god, Julia's annual trip through the Appalachian Mountains. Like it's just so random.
Yeah,
And we were all worried about you.
camping is not a life I ever need to go through again.
Right, but I think you could get behind like this whole theme is giving Katie Maloney Tom Schwartz,
No,
which
it's
listen to our
it's
reality digest and you'll understand
but
that
it's
reference.
like not.
Okay, send me your wedding mood board. I need to look at it.
Okay.
Because this is the thing. If we're gonna put you on Farmer Wants a Wife, we're gonna need to make sure that this aligns with his vision as well.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm literally put on Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Oh my
That is
God,
my wedding.
okay.
That is not the dress, the wedding.
Okay.
The logs and the greenery and
So
it's
we're
like
gonna be
dark.
outside, is what you're telling me?
Like what? I don't need to be outside. I could also get married in the library. Like
I'm so confused. Are we bringing trees into the library?
That's funny.
I'll take your word for it. Something else that I also remember being funny at their wedding, and like I feel like it's so hardcore millennial, is that they had a tattoo artist set up.
Who else had that? Oh, in the valley. Like, see, episode 4. There's a tattoo artist at this like circus thing they're doing.
Oh, I don't remember that. I need to rewatch the
Mhm.
first two seasons, but I just hate Janet so much. I don't know if I can. But she actually gave him a tattoo of a stick figure.
Oh my god.
They're just so, I don't even know the word for them at this point. Like off the beaten path, free spirited. I don't know. It's just funny.
Okay, I'm sending you 2 different pictures of what the vibe of my wedding could be. It's 2 very different things. I know that. Okay.
Okay.
One will have to win at the time.
I mean, different vibe, but I can see how they would go. Like it just really
But like
depends
you
if
could do
want
ceremony.
inside or outside.
You could do ceremony with the trees and then the reception and the.
I see the vision for your wedding. We'll make it happen.
Thank you.
Most recently, in April of 2025, Kaylin mentioned that they had been trying to have a child for about a year, and
I don't think I saw
I know, and that it was, I guess they do have a house now, and like they're not living in the van anymore, and that it was, quote, harder than I anticipated. That's what she kind of said about it, but she just said that they weren't putting too much pressure on it. She's also only 29 and he's only 34, so they definitely still have many years to have a kid, but they seem very happy together and they're always traveling. it seems.
Well, cute. Love that for them.
Yeah, so that's the end of part 1 of this and ending on a happy ending. But yeah, we're gonna do a part 2, and I think it's going to be Joe and Serena, who we were talking about earlier, Hannah and Dylan, Becca Kufrin, and Thomas,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
right? And Noah and Abigail.
Okay, got it.
I do actually think that there are a few more.
Oh, what about John Paul Jones and who was it?
Well, it was Tasha. They weren't
It
successful.
was, oh, it was
Yeah.
Tasha.
There might be a few more. I'll look into it. There's 2 more that I found, but I didn't remember them super well, which makes me think that I might have a hard time finding things on them. So
Okay, yeah.
TBD, but we're definitely gonna do a part 2. But yeah, I had fun writing this episode. It's like fun because I was so into Bachelor in Paradise when it was on.
What? Are they gonna do a new season soon? Like, what's the situation?
I don't think they are because they don't have
Why?
people to pull from the seasons.
Damn.
I know. What did you think?
Yeah, I didn't know about the first 3 couples, I think. So I learned all about them. Rooting for the ones that are still together.
Me
And then I hope
too.
the ones that are no longer together find happiness elsewhere.
I really need Carly to find the love of her life. She's been through it.
For real. What is Evan doing now? Wait, did we say that? Just like chilling? Other than his like erectile dysfunction issues.
Lord, solving the world's problems, I guess. I don't know. He doesn't post, so I
Oh.
honestly couldn't find anything. But yeah, we'll definitely do a part 2, and maybe we'll do one on the Bachelor Bachelorette couples, although there's not that many of them.
Yeah, they don't make it often.
Unfortunately, no, they do not.
I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And you listen to our episode on Tuesday, and then you come back again for our Fame Files on Thursday, and then you listen to our episode on Tuesday, and then you come back again for our Fame Files on Thursday for the rest of your life.
Yes, immediately yes. And next week, our Fame Files is on Bridget Mendler. It's our 3rd celebrity deep dive.
Beautiful.
And I think it'll be really cute, fun episode. I'm excited to talk about it. Anyways, ta-ta.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week for more pop culture chaos. The stories we cover are based on research and publicly available sources. While we strive for accuracy, some details may be disputed or unverified, and this episode is for entertainment and informational purposes only.